I'm best-selling author Brian W. Smith, and you're watching Amplified Exposure Live with Teresa B. Let's get it. Keep shining, let it shine, shine like a diamond. Keep shining, let it shine, shine like a diamond.
Good Facebook. Good. Good evening, Facebook. This is Teresa B coming at you with Amplified Exposure Live. Today, I have my wonderful guest, Miss Tiffany L. Warren, one of my favorite writers. And she came on this show today, not just because she's gorgeous over there smiling with her hair flipped to the side, but she came over here today. She came on my show today because she likes me. So I can't. She got me. But for those of you that are out there in La La Land, Roku Land, TV Land, listen up because we're gonna have a good show today. Right. Welcome, Miss Tiffany L.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I finally get to meet her. Y'all, I'm so proud because I've been reading her books for years.
That's one of my faves.
One of my faves too. But it doesn't have your signature. I need your signature.
I know. It's so weird. I haven't signed a book in person since I don't know what 2019. So.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. You might need to do some virtual signing.
I know. Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today. This is a blessing. I have been trying to get you on here for a while now.
Yeah, since the summertime, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And she finally said yes. The first time I contacted her, she was vacationing.
I was.
Yeah.
I was on the beach. I said, who is this lady in my inbox while I'm in Jamaica? But she was there.
No, the fact that you responded while you was in Jamaica. Yeah. Too cool. So I really appreciate you for coming on. But let's get started because, boy, this is like a dream come true for me. So I am so honored and blessed that you're here. I want to talk about how you got started in writing because you're such a phenomenal writer. I know that you won is it Essence Award?
So back in the day, Essence used to have a bestseller list. So one of my books, not sure which one. It might have been The Replacement Wife, made the Essence bestseller list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, yeah. They don't have that anymore for us.
I think they pretty much stopped doing it. They were doing it for many years. They had a hardcover list and then a paperback list. I don't think they're doing it anymore, unfortunately, because that was a way for a lot of writers to kind of get some recognition when we weren't making the New York Times bestseller list. We had our list. We had the Essence list. So they may still be doing it in some iteration, but it's definitely not as large as it was back in the day. And if anybody from Essence is listening, bring it back because we love
it. Because us little writers over here, we would like to try at least to get on it, But let's talk about your books. So, how old were you when you first started writing books?
Okay. So I started reading at the age of 4. So as soon as I learned how to write, I was writing books. So stories, probably around the age of 19 that I started actually trying to write a whole novel. And back then, I was very much inspired by Sister Souljah, Coldest Winter Ever, trying to write, that next great street lit novel. And none of those books that I was writing back then actually saw the light of day. And that may have been a good thing. I'm not sure. But I got my first book deal in my late 20s. I was actually pregnant with my son and in 2003. And so I signed with Authority Press and they released What a Sister Should Do. And that's kind of where it all started.
Wow. So your first books they weren't with the publisher.
Oh no, the first books are still in notebooks somewhere under my bed. Unpublished.
Okay. Okay. Well, those were practice books. Those were
They
practice.
weren't good. They weren't good. Y'all don't want, trust me, you don't want to read it. It wasn't good. Every writer's first book is bad, and mine was real bad. Okay.
Yeah, I tell everybody that about mine. Look, if you can get past book one, you're good, because book one is not the greatest. So yes, I understand that totally.
It's just, I mean, you improve and grow in your craft over the years, and that's definitely, I mean, that's true of any writer, but it's really true of me. When I have book clubs that tell me they're going back to read What a Sister Should Do, like I almost want to recommend that they read a newer novel. Not that it's bad, but it's just I've grown so much since 2005 when that first book came out that I would like to introduce them to the new version of me. But those are loved, and authors are their own biggest critics. So I probably see things that, a reader would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But so yeah, I mean, it's really about growing in the craft. And my goal is always to write a better book than the last one. So that's, I raise the bar for myself every time I sit down and start writing.
Did you get any type of professional training or any type of classes that you've taken over the years?
So I was one of those writers who I had never taken a writing class when I started writing. However, once I got into the field, I understood that, I needed help. Like I wasn't the best version of myself. So over the years, I've taken writing classes. I'm actually about to start a screenwriting class next week. So I'm a continuous learner. I always want to grow and be the best version of myself. So that requires me to look at the greats, to do master classes, to see, who's mastered that technique that I always wanted to use. I really want to publish sci-fi. So right now I'm learning about world building and what makes a successful sci-fi novel. So it's always about taking classes, but I started off as an IT geek. I have an IT degree. I wrote my book on my breaks when I was working the IT help desk. So
wow.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite genre to write in?
So my favorite, I don't know that I have a favorite genre to write in. My favorite genre to read is science fiction. I love sci-fi. Octavia Butler is my favorite author.
Yes.
With Eric Jerome Dickey being a close second. I love science fiction. I haven't successfully written any yet, but that would be my goal. Like that would be my crowning achievement. And then something literary, because that is what I cut my teeth on. When my library, we didn't have contemporary Black authors. We had, Maya Angelou, we had Gloria Naylor, we had James Baldwin. And so that's what I read. Those were the Black authors that I knew. And I just told an author this last week, and she was like, wow, I didn't discover contemporary Black writers until I got a book deal, because I felt like, okay, I need to know who my peers are or who else is doing it, better than me, or, selling more books than me. I want to know who else is out there. And I started, reading contemporary writers. I discovered the Black section at either Barnes and Noble or Borders. And I went crazy because I honestly didn't even know Octavia Butler was Black until years later, because her early books that I read as a teenager had white people on the cover. So
yeah, it did.
You didn't know. And when I tell you how excited I was to find out that she was a Black woman, crazy. So now I'm so glad that I took that journey, because I've discovered so many writers that now they are my go-tos. So
well, good. So how many books do you have altogether?
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure, because if people keep asking me this and I need to get a definitive number, it's over 30. I think it's 32 or 33, but went through some years of, publishing young adult books under my pen name, Nikki Carter. And then I self-published a few books. So I need to get a definitive count. You are like the second person who asked me that this week, and I did not have an answer for us. I need to do a count.
Well, anything over 10, you're a legend, right? So,
okay.
So, I'm just saying. So, once you get past 10, you're one of the greatest. So, I just love your writing. I'm going to keep saying it. I just love your writing. So for those of you that are out there that are just coming in, this is Tiffany L. Warren. She is an Essence bestseller author. She is one of my favorites. I'm gonna keep saying that. She's one of my favorites. She's written over 30 something, because we don't know the real count, over 30 books. And the last book that I had of hers was The Replacement Wife.
Mm-hmm.
This book. For those that haven't read it before, tell us about The Replacement Wife.
So The Replacement Wife is, okay, so my favorite movie, because my grandmother made me watch it every year growing up, is The Sound of Music. So The Replacement Wife is like a Black version of The Sound of Music. It's about a young widower named Quentin who has all these children that are running amok, and his mom decides to hire a nanny from the church choir, who's so sweet. But he also has like this gold digger girlfriend named Chloe who's in the mix and is like, this nanny not finna steal my man and my check. So it's one of my favorites because it's so fun. And Quentin is just like, he's all things romance hero. He's rich, he's sensitive, he likes music, he plays the piano, he has all of the boxes, he checks them. So, I could even call him Lord Quentin, you know what I mean? And for the Bridgerton folks out there like me, I love that show, by the way. So that The Replacement Wife is like, I've written very few books that I consider actual romance novels. So that's one of them.
Yeah, there's a scene in there where they go, it's either walking or running. Mm-hmm. And he was like, really, it's like I could actually picture him, like what he looked like and how he treated her when they went on this run. I was like, this man right here, he ain't on earth. This is definitely written.
He ain't on earth. He doesn't look like he's not on earth.
He's not on earth. It's definitely a fictional character because he was so gentle and nice and kind to her.
Yeah, he was. And I love that's, a friend of mine tells me some of my male characters be too sensitive, like they need some extra testosterone. But he was the perfect combination of, he was all man, but then he was, he wanted to be a protector and a provider. And even before he was with Montana in a relationship, he wanted to, just the simple act of her feet were hurting in her running shoes. So he bought her some shoes. Like that type of thing. Quentin is he's one of my favorite male heroes. And I told you earlier before we got on that I'm actually writing a screenplay version of that now, because I would love to see that on TV or film. And then it has an element of music. I love music. My second love outside of books and writing is music. So I've been writing songs forever. We did a stage play version of The Replacement Wife in 2012 in Dallas, Texas. Shirley Murdoch played the mom, and the late great Tommy Ford, he played Montana's ex-boyfriend. So it was a very fun show to do. And so I would love to see that, The Replacement Wife somewhere in a visual form, because that's really it unfolded in my mind like a movie. So
yeah. Now he has some bad children.
He did. Okay. He did have some bad kids, like especially that Deirdre. She was off the chain.
Yeah, she was. Sneaking out the house and stuff. I don't want to tell the book, but I was just so into it because he was so fine in my head. He's so beautiful in my head, and I was like, "Why he got them bad children?"
They're bad, especially, and the little ones was off the chain too. Like, so yeah. But
is this your favorite?
He needed a nanny. She had to come in and rescue him.
She did, and she was so. Girl, this has to be a movie. This has to be a movie. I don't.
From your lips to God's ears. Come on.
Yeah, Eldris. Do you think he could be him? He could play his role.
Listen, okay, I'm gonna tell you something. Idris is every hero in all of my books. Even the light skinned ones is Idris. Okay, that's just kind of what I do. Some of them is my husband. Let me say that. Probably watching me upstairs. I love you, my love.
Look, that man. Just going through my mind, I wish he was standing right here. Like that was everything. He was everything to me. Yes, it would be very dope on the screen. And I can't wait to bring it to life because I can only imagine. And as a reader, you want to see it exactly how it is in the book.
Yeah.
When people make movies, you kind of get disappointed that oh my God, they missed that part when they were alone in front of the piano, or So yeah. Particular, but I can see you really putting that exactly the way it is in the book because it is kind of like already screen formulated for you. So,
I just learned so much about that book to film process because my book, The Favorite Son, just got made into a movie by BET. It'll be on sometime this year. I don't have the dates yet, but I learned a lot about how a book gets, transformed into a movie. And the best way to describe it is that the book is source material for the film. So you're not going to see every scene played out or, because think about it, it's an 85,000 word book. The movie is an hour and a half to 2 hours. You really don't have time. And a script is like 90 pages. So it's like, okay, how do I get everything, the heart of the book onto the screen? And so, we did a really good job of getting the heart of The Favorite Son onto the movie. And I'm super excited about it. Robin Givens directed it. She is amazing. The cast is amazing. So, there's Rotimi as Blaine from the book. My readers will remember Blaine, off the chain. And Jonathan McReynolds plays Camden. And it's just a huge cast of just the most beautiful singing young people. You got Anthony Evans, Lauren Lott, Soraya from Empire. I don't want to write out Anti-People. And Lisa Arendo, who is amazing as First Lady. And E. Roger Mitchell, who plays the Pastor B.C. Wilson. So seeing that whole process take place, it opened my eyes to how the sausage is made with movies and how it all happens and why some things from the book just don't make it. Some things are a matter of budget. Like I had them the cast, or in the book had the characters going to Miami. Well, this is COVID. We needed to film in Atlanta. There's no Miami Strip in Atlanta. So, that part changed. So there's a lot of things that you see and you have a question as the reader watching the movie form of it. You're like wanting to see like all the stuff that you loved in the book make its way to the screen. It doesn't always do that, but I think that my readers are going to be pleased about the Favorite Son adaptation. I'm super excited about it. Watching it unfold was great. So
I need to read that before it actually comes out because I definitely want to make a comparison and see how it's done. But tell people about your class that you're going to have because they might want to participate. I know I want to participate. So when are you having that and where?
So we actually launched the writing coaching program, and I'm actually full. I'm going to have to do it again. So we did a 2-hour Zoom meeting where I kind of talked about my journey as a writer and invited people. There's a book writing track and a book to film track. So writers who want to take their book that's already written and make it a screenplay, we're going to spend 6 months just going over the basics, like the things that I wish I had known when I started. Like I started writing a novel. Things like, okay, how do I write a sequel? How do I get the book finished? Like that's the best part for a lot of writers is they've been writing their first book since I met them. Like since I came into the industry, I know people who have been writing their book that I meet them every year at conferences and they're like, oh, I need help getting started. And so that's the novel track. That's what that's for. Like folks who, you know, just haven't made it across the finish line yet. We're going to talk about how to get across the finish line. With the screenplay, I learned so much as a book writer writing my first screenplay that I kind of want to impart that knowledge to all of my friends who are now looking at this space as an opportunity to, you know, make more money from their books. So it definitely, there's so many platforms now. It's not just, you know, networks. It's not just the big screen. You can have your intellectual property on Netflix, Amazon, you know, Tubi. You could have a YouTube movie, you know, so many ways to, you know, take that print work and make it visual. So I definitely wanted to share some of that. So for the next 6 months, I have a crew and we are going to plow through and they're going to get their scripts done and their books done. And I'll see after June, I'll see if it's something that's sustainable for me and my schedule and see if I can still do it. But I had so many people asking me, I said, look, let me put this together so that I can have group sessions for people. And I'm not, you know, answering the same questions over and over again, you know, in my email, the inbox. So I think it's going to be good. I'm super excited. We start actually this coming weekend.
I wish I would have known. Oh, so is screenplay writing? Can you compare it to playwright? Is it similar?
It is similar, but the difference, what I think with screenplay and stage play is you're very limited on your locations when you're doing a stage play, unless you're about to spend $1 million on like revolving sets and the whole crew that's going to break your whole set down multiple times. Think about the stage plays you've seen. Think about Tyler Perry. Everything is happening in a mansion and he might flip it around and it's a jail on the other side. Like you're very limited on your location. So you have to figure out how to make the story unfold and make it believable. Like when I did The Replacement Wife, everything happens in the mansion. Everything. There is no scene that does not happen in the mansion. And we had a very simple set. We did the play at a church. So it wasn't like a, you know, 2-story or anything. It was just the living room of the mansion. And so it makes sense that every scene unfolded in that space. So that's the biggest thing. But stage plays are also visual. They're not, movies give you a lot more latitude with what you can do. A stage play, I mean, it has to make sense for it to be in that one place. And then the other thing about stage plays is it's a different form of entertainment. So people are going to the theater looking for something different. Like you're looking for over the top, you know, acting. You're looking for singing. Like you want them to sing down. In a movie, you know, they may or may not be singing in a movie. You might have a soundtrack, but if you go to a stage play, especially a Black gospel stage play, what you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I created, my books were created into a stage play. That Church Life, I made it into a stage play, and you had to have that with the singers, and they couldn't be mediocre because I had first, and I had to fire them. I was like, this ain't working.
No, they got to be able to blow. They got to take a song that like maybe only 3 minutes, but they can do so many runs and ad libs that song be like 6 or 7 minutes. And I had some of them good singers. Hey, Cece Godbolt. Hey, Sonya Chisholm. Girls sang. I had some good singers in my stage plays in Dallas. I miss doing stage plays. I'm gonna do another one at some point. And I think we thinking about coming to your area. You in North Carolina, right? You're in Durham.
I was.
Oh man, well that's where we going.
But I'm close to you now. I want to tell people where I moved.
I live in Maryland. People know where I am. I'm in
Oh,
Maryland.
you're in Maryland. Okay, well, I'm where you filmed your where you did your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody on my page know where I filmed. So they all know that. They finna come over your house.
No, I'm hidden away in the sticks for a reason.
Okay.
I'm hiding from some people.
Oh man. Oh
Crime or
man.
nothing. No crime or nothing, but just some people. But anyway, I would have loved to see stage play as well. But for the film portion of it, did you actually get to choose your actors? Because with stage play, we get to pretty much choose who we want.
Right.
But
Yeah, it was totally different. So the only actor that I was gave a recommendation on was actually Jonathan McReynolds as Camden. He is a wonderful gospel singer, and I saw a YouTube video of him. I had actually never heard of him until I started doing research for the book to film, and I was like, it's perfect. He like embodies Camden. And luckily they listened to me. But the rest of the cast, they had a wonderful casting director that did all that. So that and it was only for me, it was a suggestion because I was not, a decision maker in that space. At some point in the future, I may take a bigger producer role in some of my next films coming up. But this one, I kind of was just sitting back and, enjoying the ride.
Okay. So this is your very first.
This is the first. This is my first movie baby. I have book babies now. I have my first movie baby.
Awesome. Congratulations. So how did you tap into that field? Did you pitch your script, or did you have I know a lot of agents will actually pitch your books for film. What is that process? How does it work?
So for me, it was, I call it the serendipity of God. I know a young lady who got me connected with the people who were acquiring book to film at BET. I actually met some of the BET executives at the American Black Film Festival in 2019 in Miami. So if you are a filmmaker or you want your, books to go to film, that's a really good conference to go to meet people. So I was there in 2019, and I actually went to a session with Roger Bob, and he stood outside after he was done speaking to us for an hour and took questions. And there was a line wrapped around the whole, floor of the hotel, trying to ask this man one question. And so, I'm an introvert. So I have open mouth, insert foot disease. So I was like, okay, what am I going to say to this man? It's not going to make him think I'm crazy. And then if he get an email from me, be like, that was that crazy girl from ABFF. So in my mind, I was trying to think what am I going to ask? To get what I need. And so I asked a very basic question. I was like, I have all of these books, all of these intellectual properties. What is the first thing that I need to do? Do I need to write scripts? Because some people are telling me no, some are saying yes. And he said, you have a lot of books. A lot of people have a lot of books. You need to write a script because that is what producers are going to be looking to acquire to, turn that into, the movie. And so after that, I went home and I started learning how to write scripts. I actually wrote scripts that were not based on a movie so that I could get feedback from, there's a website called The Blacklist, and it's a place where those best screenplays of the year that haven't been acquired are promoted to all the producers at Hollywood. And I'm giving y'all secrets, so if y'all listen to do this.
Wait a minute. I didn't know you was gonna be giving out nuggets. Hold on.
Hey, I big nuggets coming from everywhere, honey. But I wrote a script and I put it on this website called The Blacklist to get a review. So the review was $30, and I was concerned. I was like, because they rate you from 1 to 10, and 1 is like, what are you doing? You look to see what a screenplay is supposed to look like, and 10 is like, they recommend all of the producers on the website look at this. And so the very first screenplay that I wrote from beginning to end, I got a 6 out of 10, which was crazy to me because I hadn't learned really yet. I just was going based on what I had read in a screenwriting book and, and taking that. And so I built from that. I started, attending screenplay classes that, like I said, I'm in one that starts next week. And so that's what I did. I started converting my intellectual properties to treatments, which is like a summary and screenplay.
Wow. So y'all heard that? Did y'all hear that nugget?
The Blacklist. You have to Google it because I'm not sure what the URL is to the website, but you'll see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually heard of that site before. I have a cousin that was my director of my play. He's the theater director of Winston-Salem State. So he's been in film, Broadway, all that. So he gave me the tips. I ain't did nothing with him yet. But
what you waiting on?
Well, I got into the music industry lately, and it's like I'm trying to stop, and they keep pulling me in. So I have to figure it out. I now have artists. Like, go figure. So my books are my love. So I'm gonna figure this out and get back to writing and get back to screenplays and things like that. But yeah, so I'm so very proud of you of the things that you're accomplishing, especially as an African American woman. We want to see more of us
yes,
get to that space. So that is beautiful.
There's room for everyone. I say that all the time. I have an abundance mentality. Me getting an opportunity doesn't take away the next person's, and someone else getting an opportunity doesn't take away what God has for me. So there's room for all of us, and I want to see us all shine. I'm rooting for everybody.
That's awesome. Yes. And we should be pulling what did she say? Get back to she's something else. Stop it. But yeah, and we should be gravitating towards each other and pulling each other up instead of crabs in the barrel mentality and pulling each other down. So it's a good thing that, you were able to share your resources and your nuggets, because there's so many people that will come on and they don't want to share that. They think that it's going to, mess them up if they share a little nugget or something. So I appreciate you sharing that information, especially about the film festival, because a lot of people, they go to them, but they don't know which ones to go to. So
I do know Marsha. I just saw what you. Hey, Marsha.
Anytime there's an author on here, Marsha is on the scene. You hear me? She don't mess around. She don't mess around. So I know she's probably read all your books too, because she reads everybody's books, like the whole catalog. But yeah, so I can't wait for that to come on BET. And do you have an estimated time?
I just know that it's going to be in 2021. I do not have the dates yet.
Okay, so we got to be on the lookout. So when it does come out, you're going to come back on the show and we're going to talk about it some more, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk about it some more. I actually, before I forget, I have a book coming out in April. It's called All the Things I Meant to Tell You. It's the sequel to All the Things I Should Have Known. And it picks up where the first book left off, with Kimberly planning a wedding. Hannah's business is still in shambles, and Twyla still needs a breakthrough, and she need to pull her life together. So she's going to do that in the sequel. And so that comes out April 28th, I think the day before my birthday. So I wanted to tell everybody about that. Also, follow me on social media, because that's the best way to hear about what's happening with me. I'm always on Instagram and Facebook. So Tiffany is at on both. Actually, Facebook is at author Tiffany L. Warren. That's my writer page. And then Instagram is Tiffany L. Warren.
Awesome. One more question. Is there any author out there that you wish you would have worked with? Or was there an experience with an author that you worked with that was phenomenal that you'd like to share?
So I haven't really gotten the opportunity to collaborate with authors. I would love to. I mean, there are authors that, that are my friends that we bounce ideas off of. But I would love to write something with Tanana Reeve do. Like, I love her. I love her husband, Stephen Barnes. They are like the power couple to me. Like, they are the bomb.com. I would love to write a book with her. I got to get my horror and sci-fi chops up though, before I get with sis, because honey, she is everything. So she definitely, if I could, like, just out of anybody that's writing right now, I would love to do a collaboration with her.
Look at Marsha talking about she love her too. I'm telling you, she read everybody's book. You Black, she gonna read your book. She's not gonna miss a beat. So thank you, Marsha, for loving us. Oh, Miss Angela is on here. Hey, Miss Anderson. Good to see you. So, anything else coming up? You have a book coming out in April.
Mm-hmm.
You have a film coming up. You have classes that you're doing. Anything else that you're into that we need to know about?
Hey, what else? Look, I tell you all the time, I work full time still. I'm a government employee. I got a husband and 5 kids. So it's only so much I can do. But I will be trying to do, and this is why I said I didn't know if I was going to do the class again this year, because I will be trying to hit some of the festivals this year if, COVID allows us to go back out the house. I want to try to go to ABFF this year, maybe the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival. So, that's really the second half of the year. I'm going to try to figure out how to continue to, turn out more work, because the more I'm going, the less I'm writing. So.
Right. And I just want to flash this book again, because I'm waiting for this beautiful man in this book to come to life. I'm waiting to see him in person, because I just want to kiss his hand. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm silly. So Marsha said you're welcome. Thank you, Marsha. Anything else you want to tell the audience before we go out?
I just, everybody stay prayerful for our country, and that, we get to the other side of this pandemic. I want to see you guys in person. Angela asked, what's the name of the book coming out in April? It's All the Things I Meant to Tell You, the sequel to All the Things I Should Have Known. But I just want everybody to stay prayerful and, have positive thoughts about, our nation going forward. And, just that we all, a lot of people are suffering right now. A lot of people have lost folks in 2020. And, I just want everyone to kind of try to band together so that we can get to the other side of this. So that's, 2021 needs to be better than 2020. So let's all, stay prayerful.
Yeah. I was watching the news today for our president getting a boot again. So yeah, it's something we definitely need to pray about. Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you coming on my show. On another note, I am so proud of all your accomplishments. I am so honored once again, I'm going to say, to meet you. And I wish you the best in your movie and all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to your next book.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Yes. Well, I will say farewell for now, not goodbye.
Farewell for now.
Farewell. You make sure that you're safe. Stay in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And let us know of anything that's going on. If you can put it on your page about the film festivals and all that good stuff, I'll be on the lookout this time.
Will do.
All right. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.